curious, slightly conspiratorial tone. Someone figured out how to completely stop doing their job without their boss ever noticing, and they kept collecting their full salary. Knowledge work often involves a punishing amount of repetition. You might spend all morning tagging 300 support tickets or copying CRM data from one app to another because the two platforms refuse to communicate with each other. One Reddit user posted a confession detailing exactly this scenario. They outlined how they quietly handed their entire daily admin workload over to automated tools, leaving them to wonder what to do with the rest of their day. When our daily tasks devolved into robotic execution, a system designed to replicate logic can easily step in and take over the workload. We have to differentiate between the experimental prompt and pray chatbots from a couple of years ago and what we now call Agentic AI. An agent doesn't simply return a text response. You give it a goal and it reasons through the problem, mapping out a multi-step plan. Once it has a plan, it acts. The agent navigates your actual software environment, pulling data from a CMS or formatting a spreadsheet until the objective is complete. This shifts your economic value. You stop being the person who executes the manual tasks, and you start being the person who supervises the system. To pull this off, you build a digital clone of yourself, mapping specific software platforms to biological functions. Large language models like ChatGPT or Claude act as the brain. They provide the reasoning engine that decides what needs to happen next. Then you need a nervous system. Platforms like Zapier connect thousands of applications using basic trigger and action logic. The system operates instantly. The moment an email arrives, the nervous system grabs it, the brain analyzes the intent, and routes it to specific folders. For the heavy lifting, tools like GPT-for-work act as the muscle. They run AI commands across thousands of spreadsheet rows simultaneously, translating or categorizing data while you sleep. Finally, these tools can gather the context of your day, pulling your meeting notes, drafting executive summaries, and posting to your communication channels. These isolated apps combine into a synchronized, autonomous digital workforce executing your daily routine. Let's look at one specific high-stakes workflow to see how you maintain control: an email assistant built in Langsmith. The sequence starts with a trigger. A background agent activates the moment a new client email hits the server. The agent reads the context of the entire thread, extracts the key question, and generates 3 different custom reply drafts in a queue. At this point, the system employs an architecture called human-in-the-loop. The autonomous system intentionally halts. It will not send a single external message until it receives your manual verification. When you make a correction or approve a draft, the system stores that decision in memory. It learns your preferences and applies them to future emails. This architecture ensures the automation requires your final authority. You don't lose your job, you become the executive decision maker. A study by Artifact tracked professionals who use these systems, finding that the average adopter currently saves 57 minutes every day. The top tier of power users are banking over 3 hours daily. They are effectively automating away the workload of an entire junior-level role. This chart shows exactly where that banked time is going. If you look at the top 2 bars, you can see users are reallocating their time to complex synthesis and the production of communication. They are spending their time thinking, not doing manual data entry. That is the definition of true economic leverage. You decouple your massive, scalable output from the physical hours you spend at a desk. But there are acute risks to relying heavily on this architecture. AI models still hallucinate false information, and software updates instantly break your API workflows. There is also a hidden danger of cognitive decline. If you outsource all your critical thinking to an agent, your own analytical skills will degrade over time. Looking at the macroeconomic stakes, the World Economic Forum projects massive job shifts. To survive the transition, the global workforce requires highly adaptable generalists. The strategy is to transition into an augmented worker. Your value comes from managing fleets of these agents, auditing their work, and refining their logic. Artificial intelligence will not replace you, but a professional utilizing artificial intelligence inevitably will. Imagine logging into work, but instead of clicking through spreadsheets and databases, you sit back and watch your laptop execute your tasks for you. You maintain your full salary, but the manual labor drops to zero. For many of us, the modern workday feels like an assembly line. We spend hours manually tagging support tickets or copying data from an email into a CRM because two software platforms refuse to talk to each other. We take highly capable human brains and use them as simple components in a digital system, stuck in endless data entry loops. Physical time is a ceiling on how much you can produce. As long as your output is tied to the hours you spend at a keyboard, your freedom is limited by your own manual endurance. Over the last year, a new class of workers has emerged. These aren't developers or computer scientists, but people who have learned to build digital systems that run those exact administrative tasks for them. This is a departure from typing a prompt into a chatbot and waiting for an answer. This is Agentic AI, software running autonomously in the background. You give an agent a goal, and the system breaks that into steps, extracts data, and executes workflows. Instead of being the laborer clicking the buttons, you are the manager supervising a digital workforce. Building a digital clone requires two pieces: a brain, like OpenAI or Claude to handle reasoning, and hands, connection platforms like Zapier or Gumloop that link that brain to your software. Consider an autonomous email assistant. You set up a trigger so the workflow wakes up the moment a new message hits your inbox. The AI categorizes messages, separating spam from high-value business opportunities. For those, the AI drafts a response based on your business context and parks it in a queue. Before sending, the system pauses. You review the draft and click approve as a human-in-the-loop safeguard. This system removes hours of typing while ensuring you maintain quality control over every message. This logic scales to massive data sets. If you have a spreadsheet with thousands of rows, tools like GPT-for-work can run prompts down every column, cleaning the dirty records, translating multiple foreign languages, and formatting the entire database. You can build workflows that scan hundreds of incoming resumes and cross-reference them against complex job descriptions, scoring candidates for a perfect fit in seconds. This document outlines how the financial company Alma implemented an AI agent to handle their daily rush of customer support tickets. The AI accurately categorizes 95% of incoming requests, and the company authorizes it to reply directly to 36% of the simplest cases. When AI agents can resolve a third of all incoming tickets automatically, companies can grow their user base without proportionally increasing their payroll. By combining 5 specific automations, covering your inbox, job applications, and content creation, you can remove 20 hours of manual work from your weekly schedule. But these agents still require active supervision. The recent Artifact report on AI in the workplace highlights that AI models are not magic. They make mistakes, which means workers must monitor their outputs. If you rely on browser-based bots that click specific buttons on a web page, your workflow breaks the moment a website updates its layout. Because the execution is automated, your value as an employee shifts to strategy, maintenance, and critical thinking. On a global scale, major economic institutions are tracking how this software is impacting the labor market. We are watching a trend where repetitive office roles are declining, making way for jobs focused on managing complex physical systems and high-level AI monitoring. The professionals who thrive in this environment will be those who can manage a fleet of AI agents while providing the human connection that software cannot replicate. We are seeing a growing divide between those copy-pasting data manually and those managing the systems that do it for them. The goal is no longer to be faster at the old work. It is to start building the new systems.